5. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So first of all, to solve this triangle, we do not know, we don't have a pair of opposites. We don't. But what I do have is I have side, angle, side. So I know side, angle, side, right? If I know that, then if I go to the notes we just got, if I have side, angle, side, I can use the formula that we just learned. And that was the opposite squared equals adjacent squared plus adjacent squared minus 2 times the adjacent times the cosine of the angle, okay? So if that's the case, this side is my opposite side. And that's what I can find. So following my formula, I'm going to say a squared equals 10 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times adjacent side, which is 10, times the other adjacent side, which is 11, times the cosine of my inclusive angle, which is 50 degrees. Now that seems like a lot, but I'm just going to type the whole thing in my calculator. Yeah, Ellie?
I'm assuming the next one it means find its area.
Yeah, we'll talk about its area. Yeah. So I'm going to go, in my calculator, I'm just going to type 10 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 10 times 11 times the cosine of 50. Okay, right? Just put the whole thing in my calculator. One big, long bunch of stuff, and I push enter, and I get a number. But I get a squared equals 79.586, blah, blah, blah. Now, two things. One, this can't be 79. Think about it. 10, 11, it can't be. So right about you know that answer is not done. But we square root it, right? We square root it. Square root. And we get the square root of that answer, and I get an answer of about, 8.92. Pretty easy, isn't it? You guys agree? Pretty easy?
So that's it?
So now if we put in the 8.92, now we can finish up the triangle with the law of sines, right? Because we have a pair of opposites. So once you have the pair of opposites, we may as well go back to the easy form, which is the law of sines, right? So I can find angle C, and I can set up the sine of C over 10 equals the sine of 50 over 8.92. I'm going to cross multiply, bring that up there. I'll go 10 sine 50 divided by 8.92. I get a decimal because I'm looking for the angle, so I have to use my inverse button, right? So I'm going to go sine inverse, not cosine, but sine inverse, law of sines, of that answer, and I get about 58.2 degrees. So angle C. Let me check my mode. You guys get a different answer?
I got 70.
I got
70.85.
Do they have the green one?
Are we in the wrong mode?
Hey, what server you guys on?
Mode.
What server you guys on?
I got 59.
10 sine of 50.
I got 0.944 for my.
Check your mode. Oh, I got 0.85.
No, mine was.
I got 59.2.
I got 11 times the sine of 59.2.
What did you put?
Okay, now, shh. So, a couple of things. I use my answer button all the way through. If you were close to that, then you're fine. Were you close to that?
Yeah, I have. Oh, I was solving for a different angle than you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So, Ellie, you okay? You see
Yeah,
that then?
I was on a different angle.
Yeah. Okay.
I solved for B.
Okay, so then you guys are ahead of me. Let's find B now. So to find angle B, I could use the law of sines, but wouldn't it be easier just to go 180 minus my 50 plus my 59.2, right? 180 minus parentheses 50 plus my 59.2, and about 70.8, okay? Angle B. So, Ellie, obviously you know how to use this because you found the other angle, right? Yeah. Ian?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, now the area. Okay, area goes back. So, area formula is this. Write this down if you don't have it in your notes. Area is equal to 1/2 adjacent times adjacent times sine of the angle, right?
So that's, but what about the 1/2 area adjacent?
You have to know the height.
Oh, yeah. we don't
Right?
have to.
So I'm going to use, and I'm going to highlight it so you guys can see. I'm going to use my 50, my 10, and my 11 because those are nice numbers, right? Since you know all three angles, which you do, you know this is a 59.2 and you know this is 70.8. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter which angle you pick because you got everything, right? You got everything. But I'm going to pick the nice numbers. Yeah, so I'm going to go area is equal to 1/2 10 times 11 sine of 50 0.5 times 10 times 11 times my sine of 50, and I got about 42.13 centimeters squared. Okay, thumbs up.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, pretty easy, isn't it?
Just a lot of steps.
Yeah, turn the page. All right. So, example 2. You have, here's what you know. You know side, side, side. You do not have a pair of opposites. You will not use law of sines. But if we have side, 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 we have notes for that. We just got, if you know side, 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 we're going to say cosine of theta equals parentheses adjacent squared plus adjacent squared minus opposite squared parentheses. And then parentheses 2 times. Now, what we're looking for is the angle. So we're going to do one last step on this one. We're going to take the cosine inverse of our answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We'll do the cosine inverse of this because we're looking for the angle. So on this problem, we just have to decide which angle to find first. Now, here's the thing. Chase, we talked about this yesterday or the day before. When it comes to the sine, you will never ever get an angle bigger than 90 to the end. So when you use law of cosines, always try and find the biggest angle first. Trust me. In this problem, try and find the biggest angle first. Okay, now, which is the biggest angle?
I.
It's got to be I because 8's the biggest side. So let's find I first. So make yourself a note. Find largest angle first. Okay, so I'm going to set up cosine of I. Now, if that's the case, then this is my adjacent, this is my adjacent, and that's my opposite. Okay, so you got to pick your angle. And once you pick your angle, adjacent, adjacent, right? Opposite. Everybody agree with that? Once you pick your angle, adjacent, adjacent, and opposite. And now we'll just put in the formula. So our formula was parentheses equals parentheses adjacent squared 5 squared plus the other adjacent squared 8 squared minus the opposite squared minus 7 squared parentheses divided by parentheses 2 times my adjacent times my other adjacent parentheses. Now I should get a decimal, and when I get my decimal I go cosine inverse of that decimal. So let me put it in my calculator. Okay, so in my calculator.
Why can't we just cancel one of the 5s and one of the 8s?
Yeah, don't do that. Can I show that when I get done? Yeah. Okay. So,
When you're adding one, multiplying.
yeah, it's because of the add. He's right, but I can show it better. So parentheses 5 squared. Good question though. Plus 8 squared. Subtract 7 squared. Parentheses divided by parentheses 2 times 5 times 8, and I get a decimal. Okay. 0.5. So I'm going to go cosine inverse of that answer, and I get an answer of 60. So angle I is 60 degrees. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my figure and put my 60 in. Okay. Now you've got two choices. if you like this formula, do it again for another angle. Except it just changes your adjacents, right?
Wait,
Or you've got a pair of opposites now, right?
wait, didn't you put the opposite as 7 squared though? So then it would be C not I.
Exactly, 7 squared.
Oh, did I make a mistake?
No, you didn't. Oh, you did. It would have been 8.
Did.
So
I
you
used.
just added for P.
I did. Oh my goodness, thank you. Smart girl. I did. You're totally right. If I left 7 there, then I just found angle P. Oh, Nina, thank you.
Yeah.
Angle P.
So
Okay.
So we didn't find the biggest angle,
No, doggone it.
but it still works.
It still works.
Why do you normally want to do that?
Let's do I. Let's go cosine of I equals parentheses 5 squared plus 7 squared minus 8 squared. How am I doing now? Over 2 times 5 times 7. Let's just be safe, okay, Chase?
Why do you need to find that one first?
I'll show you. When I get done, I'll show you, okay? Squared minus 8 squared, parentheses divided by parentheses, 2 times 5 times 7, cosine inverse, 81.8. Okay, so angle I is 81.8, and then to find the other one, just 180, right? Right, just subtract from 180.
So we solved for P now.
Yeah, and then this is angle G, and I got 38.
And so why does it make a difference if you solve for the biggest one first? I don't understand.
Right, I'm going to show as soon as I get done.
Okay.
As soon as I get done, okay? Can I just stop? Ready, set.